Have you ever wondered how big companies handle their money? Sometimes they get caught up in scandals that affect their finances. Let's take a look at one such scandal involving American International Group, or AIG. Around the early 2000s, AIG got involved in fake transactions to make its financial situation look better than it actually was. These transactions weren't real deals but were made to trick investors and analysts. Keep watching to learn more about what happened and how it affected AIG. Think you're the owner of a large capital firm with a lot of funds in the bank, so just imagine you have an extra $500 million suddenly. What would you do with it in the end? Perhaps you would construct a glamorous skyscraper of that kind, like the iconic Empire State Building, which costed nearly $500 million to build. Maybe you would invest it to help a smaller company develop and prosper, adding more income to your main company. If you run an insurance business, you may protect it by paying large amounts in the event of many insurance claims, for example, like after a hurricane. Furthermore, not every company has that much money to spare. This is mostly the situation where they encounter financial challenges which can be solved using money. AIG of the US is an example of what happened in the country around the same time. They had been earning a lot of money for a long time, but in the end, things didn't work out as they were supposed to. When a firm becomes large, it becomes difficult to achieve the same level of exponential growth. The market is just too small with the people who want to buy their stuff. AIG, being in the position that they should have huge income, they did whatever they could, even if it was something they shouldn't have. They screwed up their balance sheet, which is an analog to a financial report card for companies. When the company's stock value dropped after the experts found what they were doing, this was the result. So they came up with a sneaky plan. They lied about their financial status even though they were not that rich. They did this in order to show a fictitious balance sheet with $500 million, more than they really had, only to fool their investors and everybody on Wall Street. It seemed to be a joke, but the type of joke that made you want to laugh, but you can't because it created a lot of issues. The entire mishap was termed the AIG accounting scandal of 2000. Next, let's find out how insurance companies operate. They earn a living through the sale of insurance coverage to people. When you purchase insurance, you're paying so that you would be protected should unfortunate events occur in the future, like accidents or catastrophes. Oftentimes, the money people spend on insurance is more than they can benefit from it. However, it is not a problem because if it is not dangerous, then it will not cause a problem. It is not like a game where one person has to be defeated so that the other person can win. It is a good thing for everyone to get insured because it allows them to guard themselves against huge financial issues in the future. Let us consider a real estate corporation which has a building that is very slippery in the winter. In case someone falls down in the ice and gets hurt, the company will be liable to pay a huge amount of compensation. This might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and the company will go out of business. Then if the company has insurance, they're protected. While the probabilities of anyone getting hurt are still relatively low, getting insured is still a good move. Insurers generate their income from selling policies and receiving premiums. Even if they were to settle some cases, they still make money. On the one hand, the insurance policy of the real estate company makes them stay afloat in case of something going wrong, and on the other hand, it helps the company to generate more revenue. Insurance is a very important asset because it assures the companies against huge bills that could make them go bankrupt. In the same way, this concept can be applied to insurance companies. At other times, they're overwhelmed with too many requests, such as after a large-scale crisis. That is the time when they turn to their reinsurers, which can be compared to insurance for insurance companies. They incur the risk together so they can handle the risk in the same way. Large market players like Berkshire Hathaway are heavily involved in the reinsurance market. AIG, a big insurance company, was charged in a $500 million accounting scam on reinsurance. Basically, AIG did some jazzy deals with Gen Re to make it seem like they're holding more money for their claim payments compared to what they actually had. That was because the analysts were arguing that AIG had not enough assets available to cover claims. Thus, AIG and Gen Re insinuated that AIG had $500 million, which was a fabrication. They simply devised a way for the money to be shuffled between themselves to create the impression of a real transaction. Nevertheless, it was not actual cash that was changed, but just a minimal fee. This had the effect of making AIG's financial picture look more positive than in reality on paper. AIG and Gen Re did this by creating fictitious documents which they attached to the emails in order to make it look as if Gen Re had contacted AIG for help with reinsurance deals when in fact it was AIG that had come up with the idea. The financial proceedings of AIG revealed that they were incurring losses and which was being critiqued by Wall Street analysts. In order to give the appearance of greater wealth, AIG recommended such pseudo transactions to Gen Re. AIG did not want any real insurance risk from these transactions, but at the time, Gen Re was willing to take the risk because AIG was a large client of theirs. AIG, a big insurance company, sneakily manipulated their money to make their financial reports seem better than what they really were. They were scamming them by doing deals that were the same but were not the real ones. Their shrewdness was revealed by moving their losses to another company they owned, which was named Capco. At that point, the insurers charged the losses in different ways. It was like they lost money in investments rather than insurance. Such a result would cause analysts to reason that their losses were not as bad. The 1990s, AIG company set up a company called Union Excess Reinsurance Company that they ran in secret. They were shifting around about 50 insurance policies to this company just to appear as if they weren't incurring as much losses. They never let any one of their Union Excess account holders know that they were masters of their financial statements, not even the people in charge of their financial records. Nonetheless, regulators detected AIG's conduct in 2000. AIG investigated the situation and learned that they had operated in an unethical way. They went through a change of 66 different financial reports. They confessed that they had been untruthful about some transactions and even lied to their own superiors, the regulators, and the people who were responsible for checking their accounts. As a consequence, they had to state that they had lost more money than they had expected, the sum of $2.26 billion. In 2006, AIG paid a settlement to the SEC over their accounting scandal. They were ordered by the court to pay a civil penalty of $100 million and repay $700 million they made by deceit. AIG furthermore accepted that they must follow the terms and conditions and that the current CEO and CFO must be replaced. Even though it is common knowledge, people tend to overlook the AIG's billion-dollar accounting scandal of the 1990s and early 2000s because of the 2008 crisis. In 2008, AIG was in a very bad shape. After having speculated without limits and the search for profit, they guaranteed tens of billions of dollars of risky investment called collateralized debt obligations, CDOs. The housing market collapse caused huge losses to AIG that the company couldn't bear. The financial system was thus threatened. The government had to intervene with an equally massive bailout program in an attempt to stop the whole system from collapsing. It is also important to recall that AIG had also suffered from massive financial scandals even before 2008. That's it for this video. Did you know about AIG's earlier financial troubles before watching? Tell us in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.